Hey everyone, I am in Vegas. So I had never been to Vegas until I was a coach for about a year and a half, I think. And we visited the MGM and stayed for 5 or 6 days. And we came back the next year. And while I was here, that was when I was in major party mode. So Vegas, my only experience with Vegas was complete drunkenness. And that was something that has been a real change for me since I got sober, is changing the way I see certain things. So when I became a coach, whenever I started coming to events, it was always like, we meet up, we party and everything. And so the hardest thing about sobriety has been doing the things that I used to do, but doing it sober. It's like learning how to walk all over again. But I found out that leadership this year was going to be here in Vegas. Before, it was in Coronado, California, and Dana Point and Scottsdale. And so Vegas, I was like, oh wow, this is like Sin City, Party City, where I had been partying. But when I decided to come, I was like, I'm different. And the reason why I'm coming to this event is not to party. It's here to be social and be around people that are providing an environment for me that will produce growth and happiness and connection. And so that's what I focused on. But one thing that I've shared in the past, and I will keep sharing it because I think people have a definition of what I do, and coaches, they feel like we're super social, super this or that, and they have this box that they put us in. And one thing that I've learned from connecting with so many coaches over the last almost 6 years of being a coach is that we're all very introverted. I know that I've reached out to a lot of coaches that I talk to, and I'm like, hey, if you're going to be at leadership, let's take a picture. And they tell me first thing is like, just to let you know, I'm really introverted. So if I seem awkward, don't take it personally. And I'm like, girl, I got you, because I feel the same way. And so it's so easy to come on camera now. It wasn't always, but talk to you because I am in control of the situation. I get really tired sometimes being around lots of people because my mind's going. I feel awkward. And so you guys see coaches at parties and all this stuff, and you see us all dressed up, but what you don't realize is that these are things that we're only doing a couple times a year, and it can be exhausting. And that's why we do what we do, is because we have the ability to talk to people on our own terms. We don't have to force ourselves to do anything. And the best thing about being sober now is that I don't force myself to do anything I don't want to do. Like when I'm tired and I'm done, I go. I don't worry about it. I don't worry about anybody's feelings. I don't worry about anything. I just go. Like last night, Beachbody treated the elite coaches to Circus Olay. My ADHD kicked in, and I was just tired. I'd been around a lot of people for a couple hours, which was like pretty, my max level. And so I was like, I'm leaving. I'm going to go. So we left. And I love that I have that ability and that freedom. But I think that people think that coaches have to always be around people. And I know that a lot of people have certain definitions, again, of being introverted. Introverted isn't always being shy because or that you have to hate people because they think that somebody just called. That gets assigned to the definition of introvert, is that you have to be super shy and you have to not like people. That's not the case. Really, to me, what an introvert is somebody that, like, I love people. I love helping people. But I also love to be by myself a lot. Like, I can go out, I can network with people, I can talk to them, but after that, I need to come back and be on my own in my quiet to collect my thoughts, to decompress. But I love people. Do I sometimes dislike people? Absolutely. But I think that it's whatever definition you assign. But I also want to make sure that people understand that, an introvert doesn't mean you have to hate people or that you don't like people at all. But for me, being introverted is the fact that I get very overwhelmed easy. I have to really get myself going. I told Melissa the other day, I'm like, I really don't want to go. I could just stay in my house and stay there all the time. But then when I get here, I feel fine. And I'll share with you an example. I became a coach almost 6 years ago, and it was so easy for me to share my life openly to people who are strangers, who I'll never really necessarily always, meet. And it was my outlet, my therapy, my gave me ability to have a voice, to be able to connect with other people who relate to my story, or who can help contribute to helping me get better and heal from the things that have been traumatic. But I found somebody, and we were talking about this today, like I don't even remember how we found each other, but we've been connected through social media since I became a coach. Like, she's watched Rebel grow up. We've become very close. We talk, everything. Well, I told her that, hey, I'm going to be in Vegas, and she relocated to Vegas from the Bay Area about in 2015. And so I wanted to meet her. We feel like we know one another, but I'll tell you, after we had lunch, Becky and Christina and Melissa and I was like, I'm supposed to meet one of my customers, and we've had plans, but I was like, I hope she cancels. I was like, I feel like a total dick. And, it's like, does this happen to you? And Becky's like, Mindy, you know that I'm always shy, and that's always how I've been. And Melissa's like, no, like, I feel the same way. And this is the way it is when I have plans with people, whether it's one of my friends, whether it's to come meet my best friends, on a trip where I know we're going to have so much fun together, whether it's somebody that I've been talking to about coaching who wants to learn more about coaching, whether it's somebody who wants more information about what I do, and I feel so strongly and passionate about what I do, and we have a call set up, every fucking time I'm always like, please, God, please just cancel. Oh my God. And I'll look at my phone and I'll be like, oh my God. But, I told them, I was like, I really want to meet her. I feel like I know her. I know that when we see each other, everything's going to be fine, but I secretly hope that she just cancels. And so I came up to my room, and I had about half an hour before she was supposed to be here. And the whole time I kept looking at my Fitbit. I kept looking at my phone. And I was like, finally, it was like 1:20, and I checked my Facebook messages because I thought for sure. I kept thinking, like, for sure. She said she was nervous about, driving in the crazy traffic here on the strip, because, like, we're right on the strip. I don't know if you can see, but it's like I knew she was anxious. We have very similar ways of how we deal with stuff, and I was like, she's for sure gonna come up with a reason why not to come, and then I'm gonna be like, dude, it's okay. I'm like, but then she'll probably think that it's not okay, and she'll be worried that I'm upset because we think a lot alike. But I'll be like, no, for real, it's really good, and I'll be relieved. And then it was like at 1:23, I looked at my messages, and she had been like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see you, and I was like, I can't wait to see you either, which is true. I couldn't wait to see her, but at the same time, I would have been totally fine if she had just canceled. But then it was like 1:28 or something, and she's like, I just arrived and I'm parking, and I was like, motherfucker, we're doing this. Like, that's the way I feel every time. Like, fuck, like, I always want somebody to cancel. But then what's crazy is, like, we saw each other, we hugged each other, we went to the cafe, and we sat there for like over 3 hours talking, and we had like this soul to soul connection that we'd had through social media. And it was like meaningful, and like, I know that she was brought into my life on purpose. And so many people talk about social media, how it's so negative, which I'll admit that I see a lot of negativity and just blah, blah, blah bullshit. But overall, I am so freaking grateful for social media, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for social media. I wouldn't have the friends that I have. I wouldn't have had the experiences, the opportunities that I've had if it weren't for social media. But I feel like she's been brought into my life because we talked and we connected, and I helped her and she helped me. And she's 22 years sober, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, I am here in, Vegas, sober. We had coffee, Melissa and I, we've been on this journey together of, party girls to sobriety, and we've drank water everywhere we went. We've been around people who drank, and we've been fine. And I'm like, all these people come into my life, and even though I hope they cancel on me, I'm so glad that they're here. And, we were talking at lunch today, and I just hope that I spread some positivity on Facebook. Some people don't like me. Some people don't get me. Some people don't want to hear my message. Some people don't want to be part of what I'm doing. But you know what? It's all about the way you look at it. Social media, at times I need a break, and sometimes I just put my phone down. But I really just want to share what I go through, what I'm thinking, the things that are important to me, so you get to know me, like me, trust me, and so that maybe something that I've been through helps you in some fashion or form, and that I provide some sort of contribution to your life that's not going to incite fear or hatred like I see so many other people do. And some people reject that because they want to cling on to the chaos because it feels normal to them. But I want to give hope. But, I'm here sober, and I feel good. There was something that Melissa and I were talking about the other day about how before, when we would travel, my standard thing was get to the airport, drink 2 Bloody Marys and a beer, get on the plane, drink a beer or Tito's and orange juice, get off the plane, find the first place I can to get alcohol, go fucking balls to the wall the first night, feel like shit the next day. That was the way it was. And I was laughing. I was like, now when I get to the airport, like literally I got to the airport like an hour and 15 minutes before I was supposed to board, which, and Melissa got there, kind of running late. That's kind of her style. But I was like, before I would have made sure that I got there on time, that way I could get my drink. And we were laughing that we both looked in the seat pocket of our, seat on our plane, and we both looked and took a picture of the drink thing, and we was like, man, how much money are we saving on this flight by not drinking? And then we were both had the thought when we were walking to our rooms, because this resort here is freaking huge. Like usually when we have leadership, it's at this little tiny resort in like California, and it's cozy. This is like a huge ass resort. There's like, I don't know, like feels like there's a billion restaurants. It's confusing. Anyways, but I was like thinking as I was walking to her room last night, because I got here late, I just ran to her room before checking in, but I thought, like, fucking thank God I'm sober. I would have gotten lost. And she told me the same thing. She was like, thank God we're sober. She was like, this would be a bitch to navigate, without our husbands here, because we're doing a solo trip this year. Anyways, and the things that we're so thankful for, and that was the one thing that Rhonda and I were talking about today, when we met, was that, she's been sober for 22 years, and we were talking about, does it get easier? Do things change? But I'm like, the things that I'm so thankful for being sober for are so strange. And the things that I worried about losing or missing out, which prevented me from ever getting sober, like, I don't give a shit about it anymore. But I'm here, I'm present. I was up this morning, I was working out with Megan Davies. I'm gonna get up tomorrow, I'm gonna kill my workout with Autumn. Next day we're working out with Chris Downing, who created Shift Shop. And then the even funnier thing is, I posted the other day that I have my flight on Sunday, and it's at like 6 fucking o'clock in the morning. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not a morning person, never have, don't really care to be one. And Melissa has this flight at the same time. And what is interesting is the fact that I have never, ever, ever, ever purposely booked a flight at 6 in the morning. And the reason was because I was always partying. I was to stay out till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And there's time in Vegas one time that Ryan and I stayed up partying with all of our friends till the sun came up, and we're like sitting on our suitcases, throwing shit in there, rushing to the airport because we slept all day and almost was late to our flight. But this time I'm like, I knew ahead of time that I would be fine. I would be like, my mind would be fresh, my body would be fine, and that I'd be able to make it to the airport to get on a flight at 6 o'clock. And why did I do that? Was because I want to get home to my family. If I took a later flight, I wasn't going to get home till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And although they support me and I'm happy to be here, like, I miss my family. I'm with them all the time because I worked really hard to make sure that I'm with them all the time. But everybody's cool. Like, me coming to this event will make me come back a better person. But I want to get home to them as soon as possible. And there's something that's super important to me as a parent, is that my family comes first. Partying always came first. And now I will get up and I will sacrifice getting up early to be home at a decent time instead of getting home at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, because my family is more important. And so people who don't drink or have never had addiction or any type of trauma that they've tried to numb themselves for, you're not going to get this, and I'm not even going to try to make you understand. But to know that I'm in control of my life and that my family is really 100% important, that is something that I'm super proud of. And I'm not ashamed to say that at one time partying was more important, because I was doing the best I could with what I had, that alcohol helped me get through life. And it was stupid to ignore the trauma, but it is what it is. But now I'm facing it on, and it's a scary thing to be sober every day and to feel all the feelings you've never felt before and to deal with it. But I show up strong every day because I want to show my kids what's possible, not just about being sober, but about doing hard things. A lot of parents just give up all the time, and they're teaching their kids to give up, to find the easy route. And I want that message to be shown to other people, that you can do it, It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. And when you work hard for anything, there's a sense of accomplishment. And so I hope that I continue helping people, because I get messages all the time from people that are trying to get sober. I get messages from people who are dealing with family members or loved ones that are ruining their own world, and they're looking for help in ways to help them. And so that's why I show up. And some people think that I shouldn't talk about it. Some people don't understand, and I don't care, but the right people will get the message. And so anyways, I just want to give a shout out to Melissa for being over a year sober, for being my sober buddy, for being the person that I can talk to that understands. And we share all of the ups and downs of sobriety, of our introvertedness, of our self-discovery, because we want to give people hope. Because once upon a time, her and I felt hopeless. We felt like there was nowhere to turn. We didn't feel like there was an answer. We felt like we were alone. And so we share this because I know that I'm not the only one out there dealing with this, and that I might be the only person you know that's made this change. But I know that my coach was the only person I ever met that loved fitness and that was super fit as a mom. And she helped me realize that I could do it. And today, as we were standing there, somebody called me super fit when I was standing next to Becky. And I, at lunch, cried because I was like, she helped me find hope in life. And now 6 years later, somebody's calling me super fit, which I still don't really consider myself, but she helped me do that. And because she helped me do that and she gave me hope, she's helped give me such a better life, that even though she's not sober, she plays a huge part in my sobriety and Melissa's sobriety. And that's why we pay it forward, because I hope that some part of my life gives you hope in something, in some aspect of your life where you're feeling hopeless. And that I hope that you take what I share, or what Melissa shares, or what Becky shares, and you execute it, because knowledge is not power. Execution is what gives you that power. And I hope that you make the changes in your life that give you purpose and bring you a happiness and fulfillment. And then I hope that you do what we do and go and share it, because it is your purpose, it's your divine will, it's your God-given gift, whatever you consider it. I hope you go out and you share it instead of keeping it to yourself.